My name is Thembelani Moyo. I enjoy photography. I've been doing it for around maybe 2 to 3 years. Started off using it for architecture because that's what I'm studying. So I'm just completing my final year this year at University of Pretoria, doing architecture. And so because I'm in the creative industry, I started doing art in high school. So going into university, I was trying to look for something to look for a way to express myself. And drawing takes up a lot of time. Painting takes up a lot of time. Photography is very immediate. So it's a huge honor to be able to capture a moment, capture an emotion. Okay, so I grew up in a small town in Zimbabwe. It was a coal mining and electricity generating town. So that's all it was about. And my mother was a teacher there, and my father was a manager at the biggest power station basically in Zimbabwe. So yeah, I grew up there and I lived a very comfortable life. I went to the best school in town, which wasn't really that great, but you know, it's really nice being in a small community because everyone knows each other, and when you grow up in a very privileged position where your parents are able to take you to school, you know, they're able to provide for you over and above what other people get. It's very comfortable. But I then moved to South Africa. When was it? 2006. And I attended grade 5. No, grade 2005. Then I attended grade 6 in South Africa. And from then on, yeah, I've been based in Pretoria. I went to Brooklyn Primary School and then went to Pretoria Boys High School, and now I'm at Pretoria University. Yeah, so that's a brief, you know, background of where I'm. There's a few different kinds of photo shoots that I do. Firstly, what I enjoy the most is street photography. So that's street photography. That's going into public spaces without permission, without I just go into the street, take photos of scenes of real life, of people living their lives. That's my favorite type of photography. But I also really enjoy portraiture. So I agree with the person that, okay, let's do a shoot. Sometimes it's paid for, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I come up with the whole concept. But I'll explain to you how I go about the themes and everything. And then the final one is when obviously someone decides to book me for an event, for anything. I can, as long as it's for money, I can literally do anything. But those photo shoots are more rare because it's a passion for me. So how I go about picking concepts and themes is that I look at what I'm interested in at the moment. So the first theme that I looked at was it's called the Working Series. I think during 2016, during Workers' Month, I was taking pictures of people at work. So it could be literally anyone. So I focused on that for the whole month, but it continued a little bit into the next month as well. Right now I'm working on a theme. I actually coined it today. It's about commuting. It's called Commuters. It's about people on the move, basically. Catching a train, catching a taxi, walking, driving, car training, you know, the works. So what I do is, well, right now what I've been doing today is I'm going up to taxi driver. Look, this is what I'm working on. Do you want to take a photo do you mind if I take a photo of you? And then I write down their names and later on send it. But obviously that image will be used as well in exhibitions, on social media, the works. Yeah, so that's the process. When I'm working one-on-one with someone, like a portrait photo shoot, firstly, I don't just take any shoots. I wait for the inspiration. I really consider how that person looks. I consider their story. I meet up with them. You know, we talk about life in general, and then we allow that shoot to become something. You know, because a lot of the time, someone will have an idea. Okay, I want to look cool. I want to wear this, but I'm not about that. Like, I'm really about capturing who they are and what their story is. And if it's of value to me, surely it should be of value to someone else. During my time at the University of Pretoria, I noticed that the people that I was studying with know nothing about South Africa. And to say that, I mean, I'm talking about black people in general, like the way black people live, how black people live their lives. I think that there's a scarcity of media that tells how we live our lives. Like the fact that we catch a taxi, the fact that we eat spatlo, the fact that we listen to Decapo, you know, or Black Coffee, and how that scene looks like. What does that look like? What does a shebeen look like where we drink beer, you know? And I feel like South Africa consumes a lot of imported culture, American culture, European culture. So I feel like South Africa imports a lot of culture from America, from Europe, and you know, it translates into our media, what we watch, what we read, generally culture. I mean, rap music is from America. I'm not saying anything bad about rap music. I enjoy it, but it's the fact. That's the way it is. And so, but my stance is celebrating what is authentically South African, because that's who we are. And I think, you know, it obviously in street photography, I apply it to South African locations that are unique to South Africa. So I wouldn't go to a mall because there's malls all over the world. I would go to a place that I feel is authentic to South Africa. But in portraiture, the story that I want to tell is basically who that person is. Portraiture is portraying the character, the personality of someone, and that's what I do in portraiture. It's as simple as that. I don't try to express any kind of wokeness or you know, some kind of value. Fine, I do concentrate on black people, but that's not something that's too deep. I'm not too deep about that. It's just it just comes naturally. I am open to taking photos of people from different cultures, from different races, from males to females, different sexual orientations. So yeah, I enjoy taking pictures of who people are. I definitely have not reached my peak. There's some gigs that I would not take at this moment. If someone came up to me and said, "Look, are you willing to do a wedding photo shoot, a wedding photo shoot?" I wouldn't be willing to do it, honestly, because I do not have the equipment. Fine, it's not always about the equipment, but you really need to be comfortable with your gear, and you need to feel comfortable that you need to feel confident about the fact that you are able to take the best photo that can come at any moment. And to be honest with you, I don't think that I'm there yet. Like I said, I'm still learning my own camera that I have right now. But look, it's a journey. The best photographers, you can be the best photographer from just one photo. And I'm always looking for a better photo than the one that I've taken before. And that's how it is. I can go on to win many awards, but still feel like, you know, I'm still pushing the boundaries, still going further. And that's actually what makes me want to take photos again and again. There's this one picture that I took of a lady. She's selling, what was she selling? She was buying like meat or, yeah, chisanyamanyana there on the side of the road in Pretoria Central by Church Square. And I went up to her. She didn't want a picture taken of her, but I was like, yo, I really need to get this. And I managed to sneak in a picture without her seeing. And she's handing over money. I think it's changed to someone, but it looks like she's like holding a flame. And yeah, a flame, the fire that she was burning on. And I like the colors that are on that picture. Like there's a bit of like mustard yellow and aqua green blue. And I really enjoy that picture. I've actually tried to continue using those colors in my other photography. The interesting thing is that I think that the puzzles kind of go together in general in my life. So I use the camera for architecture things. I use the camera at church. I'm part of the technical crew at church. And the fact that I'm so passionate about it, and it applies in so many different ways in my life, to things that I value a lot, to God, to my career, as a hobby, things just fall into place. It's just amazing that photography can be applied to so many different facets of my life, to my relationship with God, to my work in architecture, to my hobby, you know, just going out there and taking photos. Yeah, and so I do think that it is a calling, because if it wasn't a calling, if it wasn't meant to be, then I probably wouldn't have a camera to begin with. Is whether they're passionate about it or not. Because once you get into it, once you make those investments and your camera ends up lying on a table in your room for weeks and weeks without you using it, then it's a waste, you know. You really have to be passionate about what you do. Very few people follow their dreams. And I'll repeat that. Very few people follow their dreams, and it's important to just do what you like to do. Not just because it's cool. Don't get a camera because it's cool, because everyone else is getting one. Get it because you actually know what to do with it. Are you gonna take photos of people? Are you gonna take photos of wildlife? Are you gonna use it more creatively than everyone else? So yeah, that's the only question that I have. And then after that, get the best camera that you can afford to get at that time. And sometimes it's a cheap camera. There's a lot of people who just use their iPhones, and they do a lot of great work out there. So just get into it, yeah. I'm gonna go. Whether you're with me or what, go ahead.